You will judge from this that I wasn't cut out for the life on the ocean wave. I can't deny it. If Captain Marriott had had to write about me, he'd have burned his pen, signed on a Cardiff tramp, and been buried at sea. For one thing, in my first few days aboard, I did not thrash the ship's bully, make friends with the nigger cook, or learn how to gammon a bowsprit from a leathery old salt who called me a likely lad. No, I spent those days in my bunk feeling damned ill, and only crawling on deck occasionally to take the air and quickly scurry below again to my berth. I was a sea-green and corruptible fleshy in those days. Nor did I make friends, for I saw only 4 people, and disliked all of them. The first was the ship's doctor, a big-bellied lout of an Irishman who looked as though he'd been more at home with a bottle than a lancet, and had cold, clammy hands. He gave me a draught for my seasickness, which made it worse, and then staggered away to be ill himself. He was followed by a queer, old young creature with wispy hair who shuffled in carrying a bowl from which he slopped some evil-looking muck. When I asked him who the devil he was, he jerked his head in a nervous tick and stammered, "Please, sir, I'm Sammy." "Sammy what?"
"No, sir, please, sir, Sammy Snivels, Captain calls me, but they calls me Looney mostly."
"And what's that?"
"Please, sir, it's gruel. The doctor says for you to eat it, please, sir."
And he lumbered forward and spilled half of it over my cot. "Damn you," cries I, and weak and all as I was, I caught him a backhanded swipe on the face that sent him half across the cabin. "Take your filth and get out." He mowed at me and tried to scrape some of the stuff off the floor back into the bowl.
"Doctor will thump me if you don't take it, please, sir,"
says he, pushing it at me again.
"Please, sir, it's nice tack and all, please, sir."
And then he squealed as I lunged out at him, dropped the bowl, and fairly ran for it. I was too weak to do more than curse after him, but I promised myself that when I was better I would put myself in a better frame of mind by giving the blundering half-wit a thumping on my own account to keep the doctor's company. Next man in was no half-wit, but a nimble little ferret of a ship's boy with a loose lip and a cast in one eye. He gave me a shifty grin and sniffed at the spilled gruel. "Loney didn't have no luck, did he?" says he. "I told him gruel wouldn't go down, nohow." I told him to go to blazes and leave me alone. "Feeling groggy, eh?" says he, moving towards the bunk. "Job's no good to you, mate. Tell you what, I'll get in bed with you for a shilling." "Get out, you dirty little bastard," says I, for I knew his kind. Rugby had been crawling with them. "I'd sooner have your great-grandmother." "Snooks," says he, putting out his tongue. "You'll sing a different tune after 3 months at sea and not a wench in sight. It'll be 2 bob then." I flung a pot at him, but missed, and he let fly a stream of the richest filth I've ever listened to. "I'll get Mr. Coomer to you, you big black swine," he finished up. "He'll give you what for. Ta-ra!" And with that he slipped out, thumbing his nose.